गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। वेल, द guns seem to have fallen a bit silent across the LOC and across the IB. So I thought let me speak to you about a few issues which were in my mind. Yesterday we discussed all about India, Pakistan and all that. Well, a lot of talk whether we should have gone in for the ceasefire or not. Was it premature or not? A lot of saying that India has won and some people Pakistan has won and there's a media fight going on and all that. That's okay. But the fact is that it's done and dusted. What do you do henceforth is the issue. I mean, that's what I'm going to focus on. And then, of course, there's this elephant in the room, which is called China. How do you get rid of it? Or rather, how do you deal with it? This is my focus. What you've done with Pakistan is fine. But before that, two things. One, this, you know, cartoon by Kuril is fantastic. It explains the relationship between China and Pakistan. Pakistan will prostrate itself before China at any cost. That is a given from now on. And this cartoon, which came about some time back, a year or two back, is very, very relevant even now. The second thing which I want to put across to all of you is that the past 96 hours has changed a lot of equations between India, China, and Pakistan. And I'm getting all three in India, China, and Pakistan. And that is something which we need to appreciate. And, looking forward, that's important. Remember, it's only a truce at this point of time, half time type. The real battle is still ahead, right? That's the thing which you need to consider. Okay, what are the issues which we have achieved in this past 4-5 days? Or for that matter, from the time the Pahalgam terror incident happened. This is it. Earlier we had this thing that you can't cross the nuclear red lines and nuclear thing. Yeah, even now they did that nuclear saber rattling. It's been destroyed forever. I think Pakistan as a nuclear power might exist. Whether it's an effective nuclear power is a question mark. Whether it has the gumption and the capability to go through as a nuclear power and use its nuclear weapons is over. Way I look at it. Others might have a different talk. That's okay. Their terror factory has been hit badly. You hit their major terror centers. I'll be damned if someone opens up there. And if we can push that thing through, that whole story, which is already there, any act of terror is an act of war. Put that through very clearly, unambiguously to Pakistan and to the rest of the world. And then what happens? It will be very difficult for them to revive this terror factory. Then you start targeting them. And one major thing I think which we have learned is we don't have to be overt always. Let's go covert. Deniability. It's a two-way street. And do the same thing. What Pakistan does. Low cost. Everyone does it. Yeah. USA does it. USA carried out assassinations all over the world. Israel has done it. China has done it. Pakistan has done it openly. So let's do it. What's wrong? That too with Pakistan. Just do it. So let's get our covert ops into position. The third thing, of course, the Indus Water Treaty. And I'll talk of it a little later. What's the importance of this Indus Water Treaty and holding it in abeyance? It's, I think, a very major point. And this goes not only against India, against Pakistan, It conveys a huge message to China, and China understands this better because this is a political reality which you have, put across to him. Okay. This next point is that look, as a nation, Pakistan has got a beating which I've not seen after 71, not even in 99, not even in Balakot and all that. During that Balakot time, the whole nation was upbeat. 99 Kargil, we were all fighting in the hills. It didn't touch the armed Pakistani. This time it touched the armed Pakistani, and he is seeing the pain. I have not seen that kind of a pain in him. In fact, ever. Even in 71, I was a kid. I was about to go to, get into NDA those days, a year away, right? And what was the larger mess thing we got? Pakistan never lost its morale the way they did now. The Pakistan army lost it and lost Bangladesh. But the people in West Pakistan felt that West Pakistan held itself militarily, and they didn't feel that Indian armed forces could overwhelm them. For my first time in my life, I'm seeing the reverse phenomenon. This phenomenon of fear that they'll get hit, fear that India can do hell of a lot. And I've done that. I've done a video called The Mood in Pakistan, where I've shown clips to you all of the reaction on the street, the political reactions, the common man. Can you imagine a TV presenter coming and crying? It represents a national sentiment. So, irrespective of what all is going on in the media, if you ignore that, the social media is absolutely, you know, stupid on these Issues. What is important is that people in Pakistan are scared. Yeah, we also got hit. People have died. I understand. We've suffered damage, but we've had the ability to take it on the chin. Okay, that if you see Pakistan didn't have that. In my view, after the last three air attacks on Noor Khan base, Murid, and other one, bye bye morale. It's a great indication. In fact, personally speaking, a couple of days more of hammering Pakistan would have completely broken this nation. But then, well, someone took this decision. We stand by it, and I'm going to analyze what's ahead, not what's behind. What's gone is gone. आगे देखो. India has proven its ability to fight a modern war, which lot of people, I remember that guy, there's a chap called Arzan Tarapur. He's a, NRI who writes for Carnegie, and all these buffoons. He writes, no, India doesn't know how to fight a modern war. When this entire thing dust settles down, people will write what a modern war is fought. This is a major signal to China, and China realizes it, and I'll prove it down the line. Let's not have any doubts. And this whole story of who brought about truce in this, it was USA, not China. China as a peacemaker is gone. China as a peacemaker, when they did the Iran Saudi deal and they facilitated it, everyone thought, here comes the new global peacemaker. After that, what's happened? China is left out of the equation completely. It's had no role in the Middle East. Middle East, it was marginalized in Syria. In fact, in Syria, it was kicked out. Ukraine war, no effect. Putin is playing China like nobody. And after this event, you'll see China's thing going down. China had no role. Today, if you see some odd Chinese, website in Guangzhou, there's no. Wang Yi spoke to Ishak Dar and to Subramaniam. No one. That's the thing they're projecting inside, that they had a part to play in this. I don't agree. Major issue, which yesterday also I spoke, and today also I'm repeating. Our own capacity to fight the next war is intact. We've not we've used some ammunition, we've used fine, all that will come back. And a lot of it is indigenous. Our S-400 has not been hit. I mean, that's very clear. I know it. And let me tell you, I know it from the horse's mouth. And I have a lot of horses around. They've told me. Nothing. Zero. Your ammunition dumps are intact. There was news that look, some ammunition dump of BrahMos has been hit. You can't. Forget it. Okay? It's intact. Your capability to prosecute a full scale war is there. Yeah, we have lessons to learn. We'll talk of it down the line. I will. It's not as if I'm not going to be critical about all this down the line. But let me look at the strategic repercussions of this whole story. Because the larger story has to be brought in. That's what yesterday also I was with General Dushyant and General Narayanan and P. Gurus. Of course, that was my show also. I was talking about the larger issues. The LC is hot. And I was of the opinion that, look, the LC should not have been cold at all. LC hot imposes costs on Pakistan. And it is our business hereafter to keep the LC hot. It's our business. Don't let Pakistan off the hook. If you do that again, yeah, temporarily we'll see, keep quiet. But LC must be kept hot. And that punishment should be going across to people. Unless that punishment goes across, they'll not understand. I will go one step further. Hit up the Siachen Glacier. Hit them with the Siachen Glacier. Keep the LC hot. And then you'll see Pakistan coming to track. And the advantage of Pakistan LC being hot is, a point which I have not put across. The sanctity of the IB, using the IB to prosecute terror, has been crossed. It's another red line which we have crossed. You cross it again. It's no more a case where the IB is clear that you can't do what you want to do. You do it. Non-contact warfare. Let's see what he does. Let him try. And will break his neck time. Okay. Let's talk about Pakistan. It has declared victory. That's the kind of the nation you're dealing with. International media has declared a big victory for Pakistan. A lot of section of. You have to remember, and this is a reality which we have to face. There's a huge section of the West for whom Pakistan remains a darling. You can't wish it away. And this is a relationship they built over years. Okay. One. Number two, there's a huge amount of international media which has been subverted by China. And that is playing up now. Pre-warfare strategy. I used to speak about it a year or two back. It's coming up now. It's come up now. Okay. But what I want to put across to all of you, which is something very important, and always that, look, there's a lot of things that they shot down 5 Rafales. Oh, why is India not saying? Why is India not justifying? I look at it philosophically again. Some amount of philosophy, some amount of the realism I've explained. 5 Rafales couldn't have been lost. Okay, let's accept for argument's sake 1 or 2 Rafales are lost. So what if? Who loses the war? The battle, the military battle is only one. The loss of one or two Rafales is just that. The war today is multi-domain. You prosecuted a multi-domain war. At the end of this multi-domain war, what is Pakistan's state? It is internally weak, and we'll talk of it today evening. And I'm getting a new perspective through General Hari Mohan, who will speak of it. I said he is the Chief of Staff of Northern Command. He's handled China and Pakistan. Okay, so what if you win a battle? You lost the war. Balochistan is worse off than you started. Indus Water Treaty. The significance of Indus Water Treaty, I'll come through a little later. We need to be prepared to fight against an international sentiment which is against the rise of India. It's uphill battle. Atmanirbharta will not be supported by anyone. This is a major thing which we have to realize. I'm now not talking of, this is a thing which we know, and we need to take corrective action. That corrective action later. But this is a sentiment which has come up, which I feel in my bones. A major thing and the reason why I'm doing today's podcast, China has declared that it will support Pakistan. So, you're going to look at Pak-China collusivity for a long time to come. But does it bother me? It doesn't bother me anymore. Did it bother me 2 years back? It did. It did. Today it doesn't. It doesn't for many reasons, which I will explain to you. Even China doesn't bother me much today. And this thing has only, I wouldn't say culmination, whatever happened in the past 96 hours has only reaffirmed my thought. Those of you who've been following Gunnershot very closely, you'll understand that I have given cogent reasons why China is going to collapse or decline. It's already declining. The collapse is not of China, the collapse will be of the CCP. If those of you coming new and watching, please understand, I have been tracking China like, hawk. I'm a China hawk from ever since I can remember. In my reading, I'll share some of it with you. It shows you something completely different about China than the popular perception. Then what about the Pakistani future? The Pakistani future is at stake today. Pakistanis have to realize this. Whether they'll survive as a nation is a different question. Whether they can is a different question. And we will examine it today in the evening. Join me at 8 o'clock. Okay, let's look at China. China remains our number one enemy. I call it my number one enemy. Why? Historically, I wouldn't say historically for me. I remember when I did my first major dissertation on China in the High Command course at the turn of the century, 1999-2000. In fact, 2000-2001. I remember Mr. George Fernandez, who was then our defense minister, saying China is our number one enemy. There was a lot of hue and cry politically. But today, it is true. What he says is true. It's our number one enemy. We have to understand that Pakistan is way down the line. The second reality which has come about, and it has come about in the past 5-6 years, and this is something which the Chinese themselves speak of, which everyone needs to understand. Somehow we in India have a segregated mentality. Either we look at China or look at Pakistan, and when we look at both of them, we think that it's a huge weight on us, added weight. Little realizing there are many places they subtract each other. 1 plus 1 logically is 2, but many times 1 plus 1 seems to be 11, which you talk, and that's what we perceive in terms of China and Pakistan. But what we could think, which we not thought of, is 1 plus 1 could be 1 - 1 to 0. Somewhere we are in that place between where that +1 can turn into -1. Will it happen overnight? No, it will take time. It's going to take maybe 5-10 years. But a criticality will come, I'm telling you today, 2030. Okay. Why? The thinking in China today is it's no more that Pakistan is a foil against India to hold back India. 10 years back, 15 years back, that was the thinking. Like, look, Pakistan will hold India back, keep Pakistan pumped up so that Pakistan can, give a problem to India, and India will have to, succumb to the whole story. And so that India doesn't emerge. But that's changed. Today, you're 10 times their economy. In fact, you're going up and their economy will go down. It's no brainer. How long can it sustain on loans from IMF? And we'll see what will be the state of economy on their thing tonight. Already what has lost. See, war is a thing which heats you up, The next day is when you cool down, ठंडे दिमाग से सोचो, so then you realize where they are. You put them in, I mean, a bad word, but you put them in deep shit. Hereafter, China has to provide a backstop to Pakistan to prevent its own interests from collapsing. Just think if the war had or this event had gone up north to Gilgit-Baltistan, the Chinese presence there would have been hit. You could have targeted the Chinese CPEC infrastructure. You could have targeted Gwadar. Legitimate targets if there was a war. China is now today very, very eager to ensure that war doesn't happen. Why? Because Gilgit-Baltistan is and POK disputed territories. By changing the equation between India and Pakistan and the way we have gone about, you put Chinese investments there at risk. They will understand it, and we should start talking of it. I'll talk of it later. Two-front theory is a myth. Forget it. And I'm making a statement today. China cannot be aggressive hereafter. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to, you have to view China in its prism, not through Pakistan or through our foggy ideas. Let's talk of China militarily. Militarily, I'm very clear that China and rather PLA has huge gaps. Huge gaps. Operationally, leadership, everything. The lack of experience now shines through. ये क्या करेंगे यार यहाँ आके क्या करेंगे 4 years they were on the LOC LAC. What did they do when the 2020 when they came? Everyone said, oh, they will come, they will do this, do that. Those days I used to say, when no one used to believe me that they cannot come, then I used to tell them, a lot of people used to say, look, why, will they come back next year and attack us? I said, they'll never come back. I said this. I'm on record in YouTube and everywhere to say the Chinese will not come back, cannot come back. People thought I was a fool, but they're not come back. And I also said, wait, one day they will go back. That's the record of India against China. We'll push them back. They were gone. They went back. Why did they go back? There are problems. Their lack of experience shines through militarily. It shines. For people who don't see it, that's it. This war has proven that Chinese air defense is completely penetrable. And if Chinese air defense is penetrable and it gets penetrated in Tibet, their logistics is finished. And if their logistics is finished in Tibet, then things are bad for them. Remember, one of the biggest problems of China is to hump things 5,000 kilometers away. They have lack of experience in high altitude. That equipment is poor and dodgy. We've seen it now. I mean, they can keep howling JF10C, yeah, wo, all that. Watch as we go along. Earlier, the reports which were coming were that their equipment was dodgy and all that in small numbers. Small numbers. Someone Sudan has bought something, Nigeria has bought something, and Bangladesh has bought something, and Pakistan has brought something. Yeah, wo. You've seen it. You've seen the Redis fail spectacularly. Completely failed. Just think what's the repercussion of this all over. It's nice to say on social media that, they did this, victory, yeah, wo. Just think if you are someone in the African Republic somewhere and the head of the nation and you want to buy equipment, would you buy Chinese equipment anymore? You say, yes, see that. Because ultimately, when it comes to brass tacks, people will say, I have to take an informed decision because it's the future of my nation, the future of my people. And this will hold good everywhere. And what about their reputation? Look at the reputation. Chinese are going to town about JC-10 and JC, JF-15, 17, whatever that stupid aircraft is, only for reputation. That someone will buy things for them. It's not going to happen. A lack of experience in high altitude will kill them. One major thing, if this 96 hours taught you something, it's the ability to fight a combined battle. Your ability to find place, go through a networked battle. But networking and the way this whole battle was fought demands what? It demands delegation. It demands on the thing that a chap on ground does what he is supposed to do. And in high altitude, this delegation will be required even more. And one of the things I found in 2020 was that they didn't have this capability to maneuver and mobilize themselves. Maneuverability in high altitude is huge. They couldn't. You just watch the way we did everything. You hit me here, I'll hit you there. Mobility. And we have not proven, or rather, I wouldn't say proven, we don't have to prove. We have not shown our prowess to be mobile and carry out maneuvers. We didn't get that opportunity, unfortunately. If it had, by now we would be sitting across Jaisalmer. PLA will learn because it's very difficult to do maneuvering and being mobile in mountains. And we've displayed it during Op Kailash. So that's something which they'll not forget. The importance of a political weapon, I think, is very significant. I think the most significant event of this war is not what we fought. That's the military part of the story. For me, I'll stand by it. Is the Indus Water Treaty being held in abeyance? So, what's the political weapon you want to use against China? You read many of their things. For them, the politics is more important than the fighting. In China, you have to understand the Chinese are political by nature. The CCP is political by nature. So what do they want? They want to fight you politically. That's more important for them. And they were very sensitive. They remain sensitive to what you have done in Article 370. Remember, when Article 370 was scrapped, the Chinese felt offended. They were ruffled. The Pakistanis, the army could do nothing, zero. They just stood on the sidelines and haath malte rahe. Khatam. So the political thing is important, and that is why Indus Water Treaty being held in abeyance is very important. Now you do something like that politically. You have to think what you want to do politically against China. And what do you have politically against China? Tibet, Xinjiang. You start that politically and then you see China shake. I am very confident of it. This is something which we have a laddu in our hand in Dharamshala. I mean, high time we started using that laddu. Okay, why don't we just start a you just start a political process of reclaiming, asking for Gilgit Baltistan back from Pakistan. You'll see the effect on China. Take it up now. Enough is enough. There's no more disputed territory. It's my territory. It's my territory. I want it back. It's mine. Same thing. Ask for Shaksham Valley to give it back. Don't even say that you've given it here. Just say now, put a letter to Pakistan, ask them to give it back to you. How about declaring CPEC as illegal? That's a huge political weapon. We have not played it. High time to start thinking of this thing. One China. Start talking of many China. Start talking of Tibet. Yeah, well, you see the way China will start reacting. It hits them badly. We are now talking of a declining China. Many people will say, no, yeah, China can't decline. China is a huge superpower. Yeah, hoga superpower. But there's no guarantee that superpowers shouldn't decline. We've seen two superpowers decline at least I've seen two superpowers decline and collapse in my lifetime. You saw Britain. Britain was a superpower till the Second World War. And then slowly it's gone down. What is Britain today? Why did it happen? Their economy collapsed. Saw Russia or USSR, it collapsed. So, is it wrong to say that China is declining? And I've been talking of the Chinese decline and collapse with General Rainan for about 3 years, 4 years now. It's going to decline. And today I'm going to show you markers of its decline. And I show this with every talk of China. You start looking at whatever is happening in China within China through Chinese eyes. This is not speculation. This is what everyday China tells you. When you look at it, then you realize there's something wrong in this nation. So I'll show you a few glimpses of what's going wrong in China. And this details I've picked up only past 1 week. Just 1 week. The consumer prices in China have just collapsed. Yesterday's news from South China Morning Post. They are in deflation today. Their economy is deflating. And this is a chart which I'm showing you of the Chinese National Bureau of Statistics. This is not my kalpana. And whatever China tells you, is fake. The actual thing is worse. Even by their standards, if you see, they are now here in that -1. They've gone into negative stories. Okay. That change is now hitting -1%. There's no consumption. This is a great article. China knows how to produce, but can it consume? It can't consume. It can't consume because the state is rich. The banks don't give loan to people. People don't have money. Everything. This is something which I've been saying. It can't consume. Period. Why it can't consume? I can do a separate program one day. In this he has said. In this, he has said In this article, that China's economic model has long relied on what economists call its three engines of growth: investment, exports, and consumption. Okay, today all three are spluttering. This is their analysis, damn it. Exports are struggling amid rising geopolitical tensions, and that's a lever with you to Vijay wants. Yeah, sorry. Uh, Exports are struggling, and that's a lever with us. They have to export to us, we have to consume for them. Is there a way to handle this? You see what Trump is doing? He's a consumption market. Okay. Investment, real estate and infrastructure has collapsed. Finished. But still Chinese are doing because they have no other choice. And consumption is weak, you've seen it. This is 3 days back when we were hitting, Murid K and we were hitting Bawal Nagar, all that. This article came out, which says Chinese households, especially those in the middle and lower income brackets, remain reluctant to spend. Years of uncertainty from harsh COVID-19 lockdowns, job market instability have dented consumer confidence. And add to that, social safety net is still underdeveloped by developed world standards. So it's no surprise savings remain high. They won't spend. If savings remain high and they don't spend, what do you do with it? When savings remain high, the banks have money to give it to people. When the banks have money to people to give it to people, today banks in China are funding whom? Corporates. Why are they funding corporates? Because there's no free cash flow. They're taking loans to run their corporates and they're producing which no one is buying. The people are fueling this through saving. The day will come when this whole system will collapse. It's not far. I mean, it might not completely collapse, but it will never come out of it. People will keep getting poorer because the banks can't repay. There's a vicious thing which is going on in China. This is a New York Times article. China's garment factories face a tipping point after new tariffs. I mean, if everything was not good enough, here comes Trump. Trump says, okay, I'll reduce it from 145 to 85. 85 is also a huge amount. Okay. Look, we were hitting against, Bawalpur and Lady Okra and all those funny places in Pakistan. China is fighting a different battle. China could miss urban jobs target. I mean, trade war, property sector trouble, ये वो सब कुछ problem है उसको. Then he's got a problem of security. I mean, he's built a security doctrine around his neighbors, that neighbors will provide him security through whatever. That is at risk today. And what has happened in the past few days will put that further at risk because people will now come to us and say, yeah, help us out. We want to sort out China. We want to save ourselves from China. That's going to happen. It's a matter of, these are second order effects which are going to happen. Already people were coming to us, BrahMos. Now everyone knows BrahMos when it hit Noor Khan Air Base. It hit their nuclear arsenal somewhere near that. And everyone got shaken up. Lot of this thing. So everyone will now line up for BrahMos. Vietnam will say, please give me. In any case, they are in the talk. Philippines has said, they'll say, thank you now, we'll hit China with it. And where have China's missiles gone? Zero. Air defense, zero. So actually speaking, you look at it, Chinese deployments all over the world are at risk. Isn't the paradigm of security changed in this story? I told you, the second order effects on China will be huge. Anyway, Container shipments have sunk. This is another fact. I'm just going through randomly, but these are the things which I've collected 1 week. Their Country Garden was the third biggest developer after Evergrande and one more. He is now struggling. This is an article which came out in New York Times. Okay, he says he can't trust his own military. I would say he can't trust his military, he can't trust his leadership, he can't trust his equipment, and their war fighting capability all are untrustworthy. This is what I put here in this. They're all untrustworthy. If Z goes to war with all this, the current state of PLA, victory is assured for the opponent, not for him. I have no doubt in my mind. We have to just look at our own history in the Sino-Indian context. Everyone talks of Sino-Indian context as 62 only. Forget, damn it, 67. What did you do with them in Natula? What did you do with them in 84 in, Sundrangchu? You people, I mean, someone has to understand when they came in and set across the LAC in Sundrangchu, they're still sitting there across the LAC. Because at that time the LAC was fuzzy. What did you do? You went and occupied all heights and you didn't allow them to set a foot in from then to now. This Yangtze incident, why does it keep happening? Because you control the LAC, they're worried about it. You dominate the LAC. You dominate the LAC virtually everywhere today. इनका हवा फट गया फिर बांडा फूट गया यार, simple as that. And today China is in a position there, if it prosecutes a war, it gets hit at the end of CCP, and CCP is all about power. Why do you think Asim Munir will not go beyond a point? Because power. They want to remain in power and relevant. They have a problem of food security. Such articles keep coming up. We don't realize that China is a nation without resources. It doesn't have food, it doesn't have oil, it doesn't have anything except some few rare earths. It is a trading nation. You disrupt the trade. That's why Trump's trade war is very important. How do you defeat a trading nation? You defeat it only through a trade war, and is defeating it. Whether in the process, what happens to USA, I'm not bothered. I'm not interested. Who wins in that? I'm not interested. Whoever wins in that, let him win. But what about the loser? And China will not win. It's not winning. Let's be very clear. And this is a very interesting article I got out of Yi Fuxian. He is a demographer. And he was researching Chinese demography when he was in China. Chinese didn't like what he wrote. So he ran away from China. And today he's he's actually a gynecologist. He's teaching in the University of Wisconsin at Madison. But he keeps writing on demography, everything. He's come out with a few interesting ideas last week. And all in his tweets. These are his tweets. So what is the tweet? What's the thing which he said? Very interesting. Read this. The development of the Confucian Circle, including Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, China, and Vietnam. Now look at it. He says the mentality of the Confucian Circle all depend on the dome palace built by the United States. They have all implemented family planning, which has led to insufficient consumption and surplus labor. A very new way of looking at it. He says this is what USA has conditioned them to do, and they're doing it. And they've all done it, including China, because China was also helped by USA, no? That's up from 72 onwards, after Nixon and Mao met, and Deng Xiaoping brought in reforms. They followed the American model. See where it has gone. They all rely on US market. They have no choice. That's why they are lying prostrate in front of USA. As long as the USA starts to squeeze the market, He says these regions will decline. Now he talks of India. I didn't know that he could talk this way, but I got it. He says India relies on domestic demand and does not rely on the US market, which is 100% right because our consumption is very high. Our consumption is an order about 60%, whereas Chinese consumption is just about 32%. Right? Therefore, although it develops slower, it is resilient and can withstand attacks. The tricks used by the US to deal with Japan and China will not work for India. How prescient it is. We don't know our own strength. That's why I brought this in. Now, all these things will sink now when the iron is hot. And then you will say, यार ये old man ना ये बात करता है. ठीक. Another thing he said, second tweet, within the day he gave this. He says, today, India is called ASEAN. ASEAN must be small brother. Tomorrow it will be called Sanji, equal brother. And the day after tomorrow, it will not be happy if you call it Sanji, big brother. That's what he says the growth of India. He wants to be the uncle. That's what they think. He's a Chinese at the end of the day. In 2007, I had predicted in the empty nest of a great power. He's written about China, a full book. It was a good book. That the real Indian elephant will surpass the fictional Chinese dragon. India's economy will surpass Spain, Canada, Russia, Brazil, Italy, France, and Britain in 2010 to 21. He had written then. It has happened. The IMF predicts that it will surpass Japan this year and Germany in 2028. Not very far. We already surpassed Japan. Germany is just another 3 years away to become the real Sanji. There is equal brother. In 2050, the median age of China will be 59. That of United Nations will be 43, and we'll be 39. But my guess and my estimate, things will start changing drastically from 2030 onwards. Drastically. In China, India, and everywhere. And hence, my supplication to everyone and my theory, my own thing, is the next 5 years is important for India. The next five years will define the growth of India completely. Now, this is a graph which I thought everyone must see and understand. Okay, this shows the blue line is of Japan. When you say Japanification, people don't understand it's like this. This is the path of US. US has gone up and down many times. Forget it. Forget about that. Concentrate on the blue line and concentrate on the red line. Japan had its burst. It's a bubble. The economic bubble of Japan burst in when 90s with the Plaza Accords. From then onwards, its GDP started going down. Then its population started shrinking in this period. And suddenly, as it was recovering, population shrank and it went down further. The period of 2008-10 and in the global financial crisis time, this is the global financial crisis time. Japan was at its weakest. It was Shinzo Abe, with his Abenomics, started recovering Japan's story. Even then, it came out of the red only in 22, and now it has started going up. 90 to 22, 32 years, it was declining or below par or shrinking. Look at China. It suffered a great fall during the global financial crisis like everyone else. And then you see they had to come up with this 3 red lines somewhere in 20. Xi Jinping brought it. If those 3 red lines had not come, China would have collapsed faster. Right. And then their property bubble burst. Here, 21. Population shrinking started in 22. It's going to go down. It will go down like this. So, what you're going to see in the next 10 years is a decline of China. Because the population, as it grows down, the consumption as it is, which is bad, will have to go down. And even if they produce with their technology, all that nonsense, they will not have markets. If they don't have markets, they're finished. And that is what Trump is squeezing. And if your production increases marginally, I would say 15-20%, you are on a different framework altogether. We will then hit China where it hurts them most. Forget about military. Side by side, you will have Pakistan also collapsing. We'll talk of that today. So you're in a situation for the next 5 years. You have to be careful. When you look at this dynamics, I'm not unhappy with the outcome what has happened. A lot of people will look back. A lot of people in the world will look back on history, geography, all that. I'm not looking at it. My analysis is completely different. Yeah, I mean, it depends on you people whether you like it or not. You have to again see where China is headed. I go back to 89. This is Deng Xiaoping's speech. Very important speech. This is quoted by everyone in China. He says, two conditions are indispensable for our development goals: a stable environment at home and a peaceful environment abroad. Today, China doesn't have either. It doesn't have a stable environment at home, nor a peaceful environment abroad. इसके ऊपर अगर इंडिया से लड़ाई हो गया, ये तो गया काम से. Then China can accomplish nothing without peace and unity. In politics, remember politics. And they want a stable social order, which is at stake today. And stability must take precedence over everything else for them. That is what China's problem is. Why do you think China will not appear in Ladakh? Because people who thought militarily didn't read Deng Xiaoping. And they didn't see that by then the consumption had started collapsing, the population had started collapsing. All the problems which I've said had started manifesting themselves in 2020. In fact, I started writing about this when CPC was, being inked in 2015-16. I knew that it will not go through. Anyway, so I'll end today's dialogue on this. How do you go bankrupt? Two ways: gradually and then suddenly. This is as per Ernest Hemingway in his book. Okay. So the gradually is happening in China. When will the suddenly happen? I keep getting this quote out because it's my favorite quote as far as China is concerned. Right. Thanks a lot for having the patience to listen to what I had to say. Please remember, when you come to Gunner Shot, all of you who are seeing me for the first time, you're not going to see masala. Aaj katenge, matenge, kato, pito. No, sorry. I don't believe in that. War is to be fought here. It has to be fought between your ears. I have an intellectual way of dealing with things. I believe that you have to read a lot. You have to read technology, you have to read social sciences, you have to know economy, you have to know politics and international relations to project yourself into the future. And that's what you're going to hear from me. Many people don't like what I say, but well, that's your choice. It's a choice. And if someone joins me, I'll be grateful because I think we as Indians need to understand your own strength. We have immense strength, which we might go wrong. We might have problems. We might have internal problems, but we'll succeed. I also understand. I've lived in this India. I've not lived abroad. I know what exactly happens. I know politics in our country, how poor they are, but we will succeed. Right. I'll take some questions. A lot of start questions. Yeah. Did we ever fight with Pakistan? Is Pakistan a sovereign nation? Yeah. From 48 to 71, we were fighting against the British Empire in the name of Indo-Pak War, and this time with whom? Yeah, we're still going through that. Look, you have a point. When you say you were fighting against the British nation, even now you're probably fighting against the British nation, because the British nation has come out most strongly against us in this war also. But at the end of the day, you're fighting with this phenomenon called Pakistan. I have no doubts. Yeah. Abhijit, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. So China has been saying fake news about Rafale. So what if that's his job to do so? He's known for his, fake news. So why should you bother? Why are you bothered? Let him say what he wants. But he also knows the truth. Because he knows the truth, he is bound to give a lot of fake news. But the truth will come out. The power of truth is that. Shreyas Anand, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. And then Akshay Adude. Why are you going for strikes for them if you can't take chances the escalatory ladder? If you have so much worry of your economy, don't go for strikes. I didn't say don't go for strikes. In fact, I'm a little upset that we should have held on to it for 2 days more, just 2 days more, and things would have happened. But then people have taken a call. I'm no one to say so. I'm not supporting what our government has done. Our government has done what it has done. I'm analyzing the future. Akshay, please understand. Yesterday, day before, I also said, what is your aim, objective? Have you reached your aim and objective? If you reach your aim and objective with what you've done, I'm okay. My view is we have my way of looking at it. Maybe another 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, then Pakistan would have been nicely sorted out. But then, who am I? The government of India has better decision-making capability, and they've taken a decision. Whether it's right or wrong, history will judge. And it is not as if we have not had the guts to raise the stakes. Hitting Nurkan base, Sargoda, where the nuclear arsenal is a huge message for Pakistan. That's why I said you crossed all red lines. So let's keep the channel global in nature rather than going hostile with China. Hey, that's your view. This is my channel. Please remember, I don't cater for public happiness. This is my view, this is my channel, and I started it because the knowledge of China in India is poor, and China is our number one enemy. So it's up to you whether you want to come and learn about China or not. I would say, I'd request everyone, if you find this video good, press the thumbs up thing, like the video, and subscribe to Gunner Shot. You'll get a different view. And I am one who always believes in doing what I want to do. That's been my track record. You can ask anyone in the army, why is Shankar different? And they'll tell you why Shankar is different. Yeah, thanks for your analysis of the past few weeks. Thanks a lot, Royal Judge. I do hope you keep coming back. Thanks for your super sticker. Country behind IMF loan is USA or China? Look, the way I look at it, it had to be USA, right? It had to be USA. And it is only USA who can manipulate that. Others can't. So that's the way I look at it. Why gay war? But we can talk about it. We'll talk about it probably today evening or down the week. Now they have time to finish BLA. What's the future of BLA? Are they going to resettle Punjabis in Balochistan like that, like China did in Tibet? Rahul, I think you're being naive. I don't blame you for it. I think you have a point the way you have expressed it, but they cannot finish BLA. Pakistan could not finish BLA all these years. Now, see, please understand, it's only hostilities which have ceased. It's not a ceasefire. Hostilities have ceased. A truce has been called. It's going to be violated. So if it is going to be violated and something tomorrow happens and it restarts, it'll all restart and tomorrow you might go in. If you are to go in and he has to prevent it, he has to put troops here. If he puts troops here, how can he fight BLA? Understand, Rahul? He can't fight BLA. Today you are the hammer with, you are the anvil which has attracted everyone. The hammer is behind. Thanks, Venki. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your thing. You're asking me to write a book. Let me see when I can write a book, because for me that's a. I mean, I don't know whether I have that kind of time for it, but I'll do it. They are due to perform a typical Trump U-turn and sign the trade deal with China pretty soon. Sadly, Jayan, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There has to be a trade deal, but whatever the trade deal is not going to be favoring China. At the end of the day, you must realize that, look, what Trump was doing was playing for the maximum. He knew he will settle somewhere. USA is very aware that they cannot allow China to grow. So be patient. I see marks of what this thing in 2018-19 when Trump was doing something. Probably I was naive enough not to understand it. Let me be very honest with you. But what Trump is doing is classic. And I have given what Trump is doing, when I didn't have such a large following. I did explain in my videos what Trump is up to. Maybe one of these days I'll repeat it. Then you'll understand where Trump and what Trump is doing to China. So after such an illuminating lecture, you're thanking us for your attention. Really? No, it's not. Look, I can keep going to the end of the road and keep talking what I want. Who'll listen to me? All of you chaps make me talk. Otherwise, I don't exist. You have to, you know, uh, people make me talk. If that is not there, that's it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the illuminating conversation, but I'll get more. Okay. Was there a hit to Pak nuke storage facility? Might have. I don't know, to be very honest. But hitting Sargoda is knocking on the doors of their nukes. That's what we have changed. This is a matrix you have changed. The nuclear red lines you have seen. As you said, okay, chalo, let's see what you do. I'll knock you on Sargoda. Sargoda is supposed to have their base nuclear facilities. You hit them. And everyone knows now. This will come out. Already within 24 hours, people have said, yeah, Sargoda. Just think this. Just think of the fear which people in Pakistan will have. Bhaiya, mera nuclear, so it doesn't matter to this fellow what I do have with my nuclear. No one will say I'm nuclear. Every Tom, Dick and Harry in Pakistan used to say I'm a nuclear nation. Now he'll not. Jai Mata Ji ki Jai Rajputana. Thank you, Prithvi Singh Ji. बहुत धन्यवाद. Thanks a lot, Shankram Ram. Thanks a lot. And thanks a lot, Ashish. Taking Chinese planes grid. Have you learned a lot? Yeah, a lot. There's a lot. China would learn. Forget about everything else. Have we caused military damage to Pakistan in excess of $1 billion? I think so. I think they've been hit very badly. We don't understand that. Pakistan doesn't have the money to do all this anymore. They also lost aircrafts. They will not tell. They would have also lost. All that they can't replace. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Gadgeji. And thanks a lot, Prithvi Singh, for becoming a YouTube member. Let me see if they have some interesting questions. I will take some. And the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then we will call it a day. Most of the interesting questions normally come out at the end. Okay. Are there more? Yeah, no, there are no more. Yeah, the questions will keep coming up. Why did we reconcile to a ceasefire when we had them by the tail? Another few days would have served them. I also agree with you. I told you I also agree with the fact that this thing. But then they've taken a decision, so let's respect it. In any case, we are here. We have taken the decision. So let's look ahead. Is there any Iran angle to the pause? Only country not thanked by PM, Pak PM. They have a problem with Iran, no? They have a problem on that border with Iran. There's a lot of illegal flow of oil, smuggling, everything. So it makes China, it makes Pakistan uncomfortable. Okay. I always look for your solo podcast, your analysis of everything in geopolitics arena. Keep up the good work. So thanks a lot. Incidentally, let me put it this way. It's not a boast, but I've never been wrong about China. Whatever I've said about China has come true. Is India using its market advantage in trade negotiation with US? India appears to be giving in too soon. Other nations are standing up to Trump. I don't agree with this. I think we had to do something to get to a trade deal with Trump as fast as possible, and I'll be happy if we do it. Because in the past, some of our, we should be very clear. Some of our own actions were not very great. See, in India, we had to protect our markets to a large extent because you are protecting the farmer. The vulnerability of the farmer is someone which we cannot. There we can hold on, but certain other things where people can afford and it won't hit your interiors, you should go global. Okay, and it's good. It will make our own people competitive. It was an operation to target the terror bases which sent terrorists into India. I don't understand how some are come. Yeah, there's not a war by any stretch of imagination. There's not a war. Let's be very clear. Okay. Yeah, let me see. I appreciate your critical analysis, not only from the perspective of India. Yeah, thanks a lot. That's what I keep doing. Okay. I think we have covered. Yeah. And then more. Yeah. Thanks, Garvesh, for your super sticker. Thanks a lot, Aditya. Thanks for the Mick Nandri. Thank you, Nandri Ungal Kuda. What New Year versions of Astra is the initiative? What New Year versions of Astra give us the initiative? How do we tilt the balance in the air? Look, uh, I'll not talk of this at this point of time. I will talk of it as we unfold. I used to do a lot of every time a missile system is inducted into our you know inventory. I've analyzed it, and if you see the analysis of the past 2 years, which I did with Sandeep Punithan on TV9, and I've explained no missile system, no weapon system should be seen in its uh, isolation. You have to see it in the entirety. It is that entirety which makes a difference, which is making a difference. And that entirety is indigenous in nature. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rahul, for becoming a member. And is the peace related to north of Pakistan? We sent a message to Noor Khan that we can hit your nuclear. Yeah, yes. It is only not this thing. Lot of our operations have been Punjab centric. It's Punjab which has been hit. If the morale of Punjab, Pakistan and Punjab are weakened and its army is weakened, Pakistan is on its knees. Okay, right. So I think we've finished with this. Mm, Modi didn't call out Pakistan's begging. Their PM declared victory and crowd cheers. Weak optics, delays. Don't play with that. Don't worry about it, Shuklaji. You have to play to your strengths always. And I'll give you my personal view. I was never a flashy chap in service. I used to do what I'm supposed to do. People used to ask, "Hey, just why don't you with a little bit of thing you could be much better?" I said, "Look, it doesn't matter. You have to do what you're supposed to do. Rewards will come automatically, but do what you're supposed to do well." Okay. And there's an issue of power of truth. I am a firm believer in power of truth. Truth can't be suppressed. And when you have the strength, the truth will to go with it, it will automatically manifest. Yeah, your suggestion for our startup counter China expert. Yeah, sure. I mean, I keep helping everything. I would suggest what you have in your mind, give it to me in some form. Drop an email, and we'll see what to do. I'm all for it. Right? Okay. Uh, what about the earthquake story in Pakistan? That's a little iffy because I went to 3, 4 sites to see what are the earthquakes which took place. I've not got conclusive evidence, so I don't want to talk of it. Right? People have started saying, "Oh, there were 2 earthquakes of 4.0 each, and they hit Sargoda, all that." Let's see. It's too premature for us to talk of it. If you get the day I get my handle right or my analysis right, I'll come back and talk to you. Okay. Till then, thanks a lot. I hope I've answered most of the questions. Uh, I think so. And a few questions otherwise also I've taken because many. Yeah. Okay. Uh, and I'm grateful to all of you who attended today. Join us back at 8 o'clock in the evening where we're going to talk of Pakistan and its future. Till then, uh, have a great day, good morning, and Jai Hind to all of you.